Let's delve deeper into public health, focusing on medical negligence or allegations of such. Relatives of a patient who died after surgery at the 37 military hospital are accusing the facility of medical negligence because they also cite the doctor who conducted the surgery of extortion and cooking up receipt. Solomon Asari Kuma was expected to undergo a surgery to correct a brain tumor detected in his head. He died 3 weeks after the surgery, which was earlier aborted on 2 different occasions because of absence of equipment. Emmanuel Asari Kuma is his brother. He filed a complaint at the hospital. Well, let's get on Skype to talk to Emmanuel to find out what exactly happened. Hello, Emmanuel.
Hello.
Emmanuel, thank you very much for your time this afternoon. I listened to you earlier on our morning show, and I appreciate that it's a very difficult moment for you. It hurts me that I'll have to take you through it again because our audience on TV also could be different from our audience on radio. If you crave my indulgence, kindly tell us what happened.
Thank you very much. So pretty much my brother was in a subconscious where we took him to see an hospital in Sakumono. And the hospital gave and found out that he had a brain tumor. So the normal protocol have to refer to one of the referral hospitals in Rich. So they did refer to 7 military. So when we got to 37 military hospital, once the processes went, it was my sister and her husband, my brother. So they go to the hospital, and since I was a neurological case, I was admitted to the neuro ward. And my sister had an engagement with a neurosurgeon by name Kenalapia. So the neurosurgeon spoke to my sister and said this was an emergency situation and would need to conduct an emergency surgery as soon as possible. And he did request 40,000 Ghana cedis for the surgery. And if 25,000 cedis was given, he could go ahead and do the surgery. After the surgery, we pay the rest of the amount. It was a Friday. So hurriedly, family put their together, and the Sunday, that was our last week in August. I believe it was August 25th. The money was given to Kendall. On the Monday that the surgery was didn't happen, he did postpone it to the weekend. He did mention that I was to handle the surgery. We kind of gave the family some kind of assurance. Emergency, it didn't happen. The first week, the surgery didn't happen. He postponed it again. The next time he postponed, he was sick. All throughout this process, there was a lot of anxiety because he did mention that it was an emergency situation, and now it's already been close to 2 weeks into this because he proposed that Friday, that it's a Monday. And at one time, he took my brother to the surgical theater, administered oxygen, anesthesia, everything as if he was going to do the surgery. Then after a couple of hours, he brought him back. He said the equipment were not working, and he would have to purchase mentioned a drill from South Africa. Now, when it got to the time that we expected that he goes ahead and do the surgery, he said he didn't have surgical glue. So we did purchase surgical glue from the United States. Got a family friend, who's also my father's mate at John. He sent them the surgical glue to them. My sister picked this up at the airport street, gave it to the doctor. Now, my brother was sent to the theater again. This time around, his head was cut open. It was probably 6-7 hours of surgery. I mean, it was a full surgery, and he said while he was using it, the drill stopped working. So he had to suture his head. And that was when, I couldn't handle it. He sutured his head back. And throughout that process, when he went back to the ward, my sister noticed his leg swelling. So he did, alert the nurses' attention to this, only to find out that he had DVT, thrombosis. So we had to go to Kolebu, go get a procedure done to be able to block this, what should we call it, this blood clot from traveling to be able to kill him. Now we got a procedure, we put down $5,500. CTF equivalent we paid. We came back to 37 a week after the surgery was done. And you can tell with the whole process delaying the whole process, to the surgical theater, cutting his head open, not performing the surgery, bringing him back. And you're talking about brain surgery here. I mean, the brain is such a complicated organ that once you go in and you touch the brain, without doing nothing, you already created a whole lot of complications. So now after the surgery, brother admitted at the ICU ward. I mean, he barely respond. I mean, at the time he couldn't even open his eye. His mouth was so swollen, and the worst part of the fact, we're not even told that the CT scan machine was working, and after the surgery, we're going to go outside the hospital to get the CT scan done. So now they told us to go outside the hospital for a CT scan. My brother is on life support. And even with the doctors, it was because they didn't even know how to assemble all the gadgets. We called Ingom ambulance, they came, they stayed over 1 hour before they finally were able to get him on the ambulance, taken to Sunshine lab at airport. And we did this twice. And it was just, I mean, moving the patient onto the CT scan, bringing him, putting him back, and the drive to the facility. I'm telling you, I mean, I even have videos of the ambulance going and cars not even allowing us to go. This is a critically ill patient. Finally, my brother identified cars a trachea tube, they call it intubation, through his neck, so it would allow him to have enough oxygen, because the tubes were initially connected through his mouth. It was really difficult for him to breathe. There were a lot of swellings. When they take it and place the tube, it will allow the swelling in his and all kind of go down. And when they performed this procedure, there was one day, apparently, something happened, and they had to take this tube out, suction him, and put it back. And what they did, it went through his skin. So instead of the ventilator, the oxygen going through his windpipe, he actually went through his skin, and it blew him up. It blew him up like a balloon. And the day before, and the day when that thing happened, I have pictures of that. When you see how my brother's face was swollen, I'm telling you. And the sad part is when I went on the phone, the head of ICU came. My brother died of cardiac arrest. Even the cause of death has even been established. And the surgeon did confirm that it was subcutaneous emphysema, but he didn't go to certain about. Prior to that, Dr. Kutin, he was in charge of he was over the ICU.
Mr. Saikuba, if you can hear me.
Give me some brief.
Can you hear me?
That's why.
I'm not having a very smooth line, but if I hear the story that you're telling us so far, so your brother was referred to the 37 military hospital. There is where you dealt with one Colonel Apia, doctor, who's a medical doctor there, who took care of your brother. He asked for 40,000 plus. That's at 40,800 cedis. And he said that if you were able to raise 25,000 cedis, you'll be able to start the process for you, which you did. Your brother was then, if I got you right, there was another referral to Kolebu Teaching Hospital before you came back to 37, and then there was the brain surgery that went on, and then your brother's head was split open, but the surgery could not go on because there were problems with the equipment that had to be used. So at this point, his head is split up. They can't continue the process because they realize there's a problem with the equipment, and then they put his head back together, brought him out of the surgery room. Is this what happened?
Yes.
Right. I'm really sorry about you having to relive this experience. And then they had to do a CT scan. And with this CT scan, he had to be moved from the hospital to another facility, which is not close. And so here is someone who is on life support. So here is somebody who is on life support who has to be I don't know, moved out of the hospital to do a scan. You did this scan, you brought him back, and then they had to put oxygen on him. This oxygen that they put on him went the wrong way, because then instead of the oxygen going through his windpipe, it goes then into his body.
That is correct.
Wow. And throughout this process, were the doctors explaining anything to you? Were you being told anything for you to understand the process step by step? What was happening?
So when my brother passed away, it was he had already been sent to the morgue. We went to the morgue and gave us excuses. They didn't allow us to see the body till the next day. And we were trying to get, we couldn't find him. So we went to the hallway. So right in the hallway, he didn't even sit us down and help, our place to even talk. Right there, where he was explaining everything to us.
At this point, you are alleging the medical negligence. Do you intend to take this matter up with the Ghana Medical and Dental Council?
I want to go all the way out, because I don't want anyone to experience this.
Because we're getting some responses as well from the hospital, and they have said that this process, I mean, usually these processes, you'll have signed something, that show, because it's a surgery and it's more like a 50-50 thing. The expectation is that it could go right, it could go wrong somehow. And so you've signed on to these things. They said that they've also explained things to you as to how it happened. Regarding the money that was paid to this Dr. Kennel, also they've also explained that they work with, they sort of outsource some of the services, and so they work with third-party companies, so these monies sometimes go through them. It's understandable. What's your reaction to that?
I think that people who have experienced here were used to the fact that it would take money to do the surgery. We were told this from staff, we were told this from other people. Already in the situation, because we're already vulnerable from day one. We didn't know what to expect. And while going through the process, realizing that he already cut my out, there was pretty much no way back. And even with the monies, right after the surgery, even before the surgery, he had already started calling my sister the balance. So right after the surgery, a day or two, and my sister wanted to pay him the rest of it. Now, even asking for receipts was causing me, go come. And finally, he brought a receipt of some institution. I don't have that in my mind. I think the hospital is trying to link that to the hospital saying, you don't pay money to the neurosurgeon. And later, you pay any money to him. So whatever the hospital is, I think when we dig a little deep, find it.
And that's exactly what you intend to do. So for those who are watching, you probably may be missing out on some of the words he's saying. He says that he intends to go all the way out. He intends to, I asked if he wants to file this, take this up with the Medical and Dental Council, because the individual practitioners are registered to this organization. He says he intends to go all the way out. And he also says that as they delve deeper, we'll get some more answers. Mr. Asare Kumar, I'd like to say condolences to you. So sorry for losing your brother, and we wish you all the very best. We'll certainly be following up on this story as and when you take it any further, so we can share it with the rest of the world. Thank you.
Thank you.
Emmanuel Asare Kumar is a man who lost his brother. He's alleging medical negligence on the part of the 37 military hospital. And Joseph Opoku Gakpo is here in the studio with me. He's been checking, this hospital and, from all that, for the hierarchy of people who run this hospital. And he's got some information from our sources. Joseph, let's begin with what the hospital's general response to this is.
They say as far as they are concerned, this matter, the gentleman was brought in August last year. He died in October. As far as the hospital is concerned, they explained issues to the family, and there is no active, continuous investigation happening. Okay. When the issue was actually brought to their attention, the commander demanded written responses and had verbal interrogation of the officer in question, Dr. Kennel Apia. And as far as the hospital is concerned, they tried to explain, they did explain issues to the family, and for them it's a closed case.
It's a closed case. Did they also speak about the money? Because this Mr. Asare alleges that he paid personally to this doctor. Is that appropriate procedure?
They say that that is something which happens. In fact, to quote our source at the hospital who responded to this, he says maybe the doctor actually acted out of extra care by seeking to intervene and taking the money and going to get the medicine. But they say the medicine was gotten from a pharmacy shop that the hospital is familiar with, Victoria Pharmacy, and thus far the hospital officials claim that they've double-checked the receipts that he brought back to the family and
they are genuine. Regarding what the hospital, the equipment being used, because you split someone's head open and then you don't carry out the surgery in full, and then you bring the person out, that's certainly like causing the death.
They say that they are ill-equipped. They had just one of those available equipment. They didn't have enough of it. And so then the process is started. And again, to quote the source, that they say equipment do break down. And so they see this as a normal scenario of things happening and equipment breaking down because it's electronic. And so they can't be faulted at the level of the hospital for how come it happened. So.
Regarding the CT scan, they had to move someone who's on life support out of the hospital outside to go and do a CT scan. What does the hospital say?
Again, now they say that they've been able to install a new CT scan. They brought it in us at the end of last year. Since January, it's been working. But the explanation they give is because they are ill-equipped, they've signed a memorandum of understanding with some of the medical facilities in the enclave so that then when they can't undertake a procedure, then they take it up. And this also happened in this case. The hospital is insisting they provided the best possible care because when he was being sent out, he went out with an anesthetic petting and a medical doctor in addition. So they virtually didn't have a choice because their equipment was broken down. And they can only rely on central government to fix that. The hospital's own money wouldn't be enough. The sad part being that the equipment we gathered broke down because the hospital should have signed a maintenance agreement after it was commissioned back in 2008, which they didn't. So they used it for more than 4 years without maintaining it, and then eventually broke down beyond repair.
That's really sad. Now a human life has been lost. But what's the hospital's suggestion as well as far as that? Because the family insists that the gentleman could have lived if he got proper care. And in their view, proper care includes not moving the person who's on life support out for CT scan. It also includes having a surgery and not splitting up the head open and closing it back together and bringing the person out of surgery.
The hospital disagrees. The 37 Military Hospital, our sources, they make the point that the gentleman was brought in brain dead. His pupil was popping out, and he was virtually almost in coma. And so they're actually taking credit for how come they revived and helped him live between August and October last year, and are not buying into the idea that he could have lived if he was given any better care.
It's really, really sad. But finally, does the hospital have any idea on generally the way forward? Because this morning on the Super Morning Show, we had people calling in with their own experiences, people that are not really different from what this gentleman is narrating.
They say they're doing customer care training for their staff. They are taking the necessary steps to ensure that they treat patients better. They're asking for more resources in order to get equipment so that then they don't have this situation unfolding. But then it looks like they are very clear in their minds that their staff did what they needed to do in order to save the patient's life, and things just went bad.
Joseph, thank you for that update. Joseph Opoku Gakpo has been checking with our sources at the 37 Military Hospital and other allied agencies trying to get us information on these allegations that are being brought against the 37 Military Hospital. As to head the gentleman, this is not the last of it yet. They intend to take it all the way up as far as it can go, starting perhaps with the Ghana Medical and Dental Council. We'll be getting more and more of that as we go along, and we'll brief you when we do. Joseph, thank you once again, and may his soul rest in peace. And hopefully you and I won't have to suffer this situation. As the 37 Military Hospital says, it is working on some of the concerns that have been raised.